Ladies and gentlemen, on Bitcoin over the last month or so, things have just been getting progressively from bad to worse. We had a glimmer of hope over the last few days via a descending wedge formation on the short-term charts. You can see it right there on the screen. Unfortunately, it did not hold. We broke it to the downside. We also broke below horizontal support. And my bias, which has been at this point caution and bearishness since about $122,000, is just being further and further confirmed each day. I haven't necessarily come out and said there's no bullish arguments remaining, because I've actually been looking at the weekly chart Gaussian channel as the basis for some of the last bullish arguments. I think the weekly chart Gaussian channel is perhaps one of the most important indicators on the Bitcoin charts on a macro scale. It's got a 100% success rate in marking bull runs and bear runs, and we are right on top of the center line right now as we speak, literally within 0.5%. This is an important moment. We need to discuss it. Before we do so, go ahead and check out the Bitunix Exchange. I post these videos for free. I've posted 1,300 of them for free, and that's only made possible via me talking about exchanges. I don't just talk about any exchange. I don't have a contract. I don't work for Bitunix. I chose to discuss Bitunix because I use it personally for trading on a daily basis, pretty much. It's my major exchange at this point. It's my main exchange. And the reason I choose it is because it's global, non-KYC. We can get around a lot of regulations on regions that aren't available on many major exchanges. And the second reason, the most important reason, is it's never been hacked before. Not a single security breach in close to 5 years of data in trading on this exchange. So very good stuff from Bitunix. Use my link down below to sign up if you're interested. Get a 15% lifetime trading fee discount exclusively with that link down below. It helps out the channel a lot, and it helps out you by getting on a great exchange. So use that link to sign up. It takes 30 seconds. Appreciate it, guys. Let's get into it. As we start drifting further and further downwards, more and more people will tell you they trusted the cycle all along, but it's simply not true. The 4-year cycle was something that I trusted. I said, the trend is your friend until it ends. And of course, it hasn't ended yet, and this recent price action is just further proof of that. Now, will it end eventually? Yes, it certainly will. Trends do not last forever. But at this point, the date range trend of the 4-year cycle, the umbrella trend that is comprised of many micro trends, is still very much intact and still very much marked a top in October 2025, which is what we saw, a top at $126,000 in early October 2025. As the cycle projected, we have been going downwards from there. To say that this was a surprising top is wrong. There was nothing surprising about this top. It was not abnormal at all. And some people say the structure of this bull market as a whole was abnormal. I would even say that's not true, because the structure of every bull market on Bitcoin has been dramatically different from prior bull markets. 2017 was different to 2021. 2021 was different to 2025. Just because this cycle was more underwhelming doesn't necessarily mean it was abnormal. Abnormal is the normal for Bitcoin. 2021, we saw a massive correction in the middle of the cycle. That was abnormal, but that was normal because it was abnormal, okay? The cycle doesn't care about structure, it cares about dates. What we saw is a date rejection of October, and we've seen weakness since then. If we look at where we rejected from in October, it wasn't just any random place, guys. We rejected from a channel like this, which many people weren't watching. This is the logarithmic regression channel on Bitcoin. That's what I like to call it. It's based on angles, and the angles of ascension between tops and bottoms halves each cycle. We go from a 40% angle to a 20% angle to a 10% angle to a 5% angle, and all of a sudden we see that we marked this level for resistance on 4 or 5 separate occasions over a 6-month period before finally dropping downwards. That is a top, right? That looks like a top. It happened within the cycle. It happened from clear cyclical resistance that's never been broken as per this channel. It also happened from more basic resistance on Bitcoin. If we go to a fresh chart and just take a look at some very simplistic resistance, let's get a new chart up right now. As you can see, I'm on an iPad, so I'm a little bit slower than I sometimes am. If we go ahead and get a linear line and just draw it right back from 2017, we can see, again, independently verifying this zone we rejected from it as resistance. There it is at 126,000. I think everyone kind of already knows this by now. I'm just recapping information. Big resistance within the cyclical deadline. We saw that top after 3 rejections from the big resistance. It would make pretty good sense if that was the top, okay? And that's why I've been cautious ever since we saw that 3rd rejection and the drop that was caused by it. Now, as for most recent price action, I've been looking at a couple of things, because obviously you can't really, you can't, just in the same way you can't catch a knife when it's falling, you also can't really catch a top. You need external validations. And so I've been looking at a couple of things. I've been looking at price chart validation, and I've also been looking at momentum chart validation. So as for momentum validation, I'm looking at the 2-week chart RSI. If we go ahead and bring up the 2-week chart RSI, we can see it's one of the most important indicators on a momentum basis in Bitcoin's entire price history. We bring up the logarithmic chart and we see very clearly that every single macro high, ignore these lines on the screen, I'll get them deleted right now, every single macro high in Bitcoin's history has been marked by this yellow line on the 2-week chart RSI, not even cyclical high, just macro highs in general, even the high we saw in January 2024. This establishes the 2-week RSI as a very important indicator off the rip. But on top of that, even this cycle, we've had an independent triangle on the 2-week chart RSI, which has been going on since mid-2023, which clearly broke down with a clear momentum breakdown and price chart breakdown to follow just a couple of weeks ago. So there's the momentum breakdown. The momentum chart has validated the top. The price chart has validated the top in some ways, but not really in others, right? One of the ways the price charts have validated the top is breaking down from an indicator like the 50-week SMA. Okay, that's been an indicator this cycle specifically, which means very important. We broke down from that. We're going to see a weekly candle close below it more than likely. Haven't quite seen it yet, to be fair. But another indicator, and kind of the be-all, end-all indicator in my view for marking structural breakdowns on a macro scale, and structural breakouts, by the way, on a macro scale, on a cyclical scale, is the weekly chart Gaussian channel. Let's go ahead and bring it up. If you look at the center line of the weekly chart Gaussian channel, what you see very clearly is we move through the Gaussian channel in very deterministic ways. When we move through that center line, we break that center line, we move through it in the direction we came from. There's a bear market right there. There's a bull market right there. There's a bear market right there. Bull market, bear market. 100% success rate. It's never been broken. That center line has never been broken without a bull market or bear market to follow in the direction we broke it from. That is why this exact moment as we speak is so important. We are on that level right now. We have a weekly candle close in 6 days and 6 hours. And if we see the weekly candle close below that level, it very well could be the final nail in the coffin for Bitcoin's hope of any further bullish price action, and could be the final nail in the coffin for validating the cycle is still very much intact as well, until proven otherwise at some point in the future. This is a critical moment for that reason. And I think that the recent triangle we saw on a short-term level, this 4-hourly chart triangle, which formed, by the way, from the base of the rejection from the critical zone at 126,000 and was forming for over a month, right? Looking at 6 weeks of this triangle forming, descending wedge, forming, broke to the downside, right? It tells us that we can't really rely on short-term price action too much when it comes to important cyclical zones such as the one we are facing. This wedge should have broken upwards under normal circumstances, but it looks like the cyclical pressure was simply too high and it broke downwards. We're rejecting from it as we speak from the base of that wedge. And we're also below now pretty critical medium-term support. Obviously, we've still got that Gaussian channel center line, and obviously there is still some glimmer of hope that we bounce from that level. There's a reason I'm not coming out and saying I'm definitively, completely, utterly bearish, right? There are still bullish arguments, but they're very few and far between. And this Gaussian channel, quite frankly, is one of the last strong ones. So I still remain cautious, not necessarily definitively bearish, but I'm definitely taking a more bearish lean as I have been for weeks. And I think that Bitcoin really needs to surprise us over the next few days if it's going to be moving back to the upside. We need to see it quite shortly. Guys, I really appreciate you watching the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you soon. Really hope you enjoyed today's video, guys, and got something out of it. That's what I aim every video. I try to bring you something new. Obviously, sometimes the market hasn't changed too much, but I try my best to at least add something new in the videos. I think I did that today. If you found it interesting, you found it engaging or useful, go ahead and leave a like below and subscribe, and also check out the Bitunix Exchange. It's kind of unrelated to whether you like the video or not. It's just a good exchange. You also get a 15% trading fee discount for life permanently with my referral link down below. So support the channel, use that link to sign up, get access to a global exchange, get access to an exchange that's never been hacked before. Use that link down below, helps the channel a lot. I appreciate it, guys, and I'll catch you soon.